Good evening, I'm Annabelle Tiffin. Happy New Year and welcome to North West Tonight. Our top story, Ryan was killed by his dad's dangerous driving. His family say the maximum sentence for the crime isn't tough enough.
He'll be eligible for parole in 6 years, so Ryan wouldn't have even been 20 before he's going to be walking around again.
They now want a new law in Ryan's name. Also tonight, how Lyra's life was saved by blood donated from a baby in Spain. Running out of room, the animal rescue centres at breaking point.
The number of cats needing our help far outweighs the space we've got available. All rescues in the local area are just flat out, full capacity.
I do like party games where you have
Banishing the blues at the region's chatty cafes.
And a cold and frosty outlook for the weekend and into next week as well, with some sleet and snow showers in the forecast. I'll be back at the end of the programme.
The family of a Lancashire teenager killed in a crash while his dad was high on drugs is demanding tougher sentences for those who caused death by dangerous driving. 14-year-old Ryan Morgan was killed when his father lost control of a van they were in on the M6 near Lancaster. Daniel Berber was 4 times above the legal drug drive limit and suffered an epileptic fit. He was jailed for 10 years, but Ryan's family say that is too lenient. Phil Cunliffe reports.
Everybody has said how nice he was and what a lovely boy he was, and he was a very loving boy.
Ryan died on Easter Sunday. The driver, his father, Daniel Berber, had taken cocaine and had blacked out at the wheel. He'd never passed his driving test. In the moments before it hit a tree, witnesses saw Ryan desperately trying to steer the vehicle, and a court heard that he died in terror.
We were like all in an Eastery mood, we was all happy. And I actually seen something on my phone about dinner time about a crash on the M6, and obviously I didn't think anything of it.
I kept saying, no, it's not true. It's not true.
Daniel Berber was told by a judge that he'd serve 2/3 of a 10-year prison sentence. Kim tried to get that jail sentence increased, but was told that 10 years was the maximum because Berber had pleaded guilty to dangerous driving and had spent time in custody.
He'll be eligible for parole in 6 years, so Ryan wouldn't have even been 20 before he's going to be walking around again.
And how does that make you feel?
Angry. It's nothing, is it? It's not really. There's no justice for Ryan, is there?
This is why we're trying to set up Ryan's law, so that if someone's driving under drugs and in alcohol and they cause a crash and they kill someone, we want a higher sentence.
On Sunday, Blackpool Football Club, of which Ryan was an avid supporter, are going to be commemorating him before the match with Bradford. What is that going to be like for the family?
Immensely proud of Ryan.
He loved to play football ever since he was little, and when he lived down there, he went and trained with him. So he grew to like him. He got a season ticket, and yeah, he just loved him.
Ryan's family are trying to move forward at the start of a new calendar year. Kim's begun a petition to try and get the law changed to increase sentences for those who cause death by dangerous driving.
We just need as many people as possible to get online and sign this petition. We need 10,000 signatures at least, so then we can get Ryan some sort of justice.
Yeah, I am very angry at the fact that, as I say, he didn't get a big sentence. And a lot of bitterness comes into it as well.
Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight, Lancaster.
Next tonight, disruption for rail and road passengers is expected as work is undertaken to replace the Clifton Railway Bridge near Penrith. The M6 will be closed over the next 2 weekends between junctions 39 and 40, and rail services could also be affected. To keep passengers moving, Avanti West Coast will divert services onto the Settle to Carlisle line. Eunice Muller reports.
For train passengers at Preston railway station a start to the new year, some could have done without. Replacement buses were in place to allow journeys to take place. Network Rail is carrying out engineering work on the line between Preston and Scotland, including replacing the Clifton Railway Bridge over the M6 near Penrith.
But I suppose if it's making the bridge safe, then fair enough, isn't it? I know it is a bit of a pain probably for everyone who's been out and about visiting family.
I don't mind actually, it's alright, you get the scenery on the way there and stuff, and I'm actually quite pleasant to keep it cool and calm, you know, so it's actually alright.
Whereas it would take us an hour, it's taken us 3 hours to get home.
Yeah. It's just an inconvenience.
It's inconvenience.
And it's cold.
And it's cold.
Avanti West Coast says to keep customers moving, there'll be a diversion via the iconic Settle to Carlisle line, with a shuttle service every 2 hours. It's the first time in more than a decade that an intercity passenger service has used the line.
But it is really important that this work is undertaken. The renewal of the motorway bridge, a £60 million project, will actually remove what is currently an operational restriction on the West Coast Main Line because of the weight restrictions.
The motorway will be closed between junctions 39 and 40 over the next 2 weekends. Before January the 5th, the diverted services will run from Wigan North Western before the trains will go to and from Preston. The advice from Avanti West Coast is that customers should plan their journeys, and anyone travelling from the south or up from Manchester to Carlisle or Scotland should go via the East Coast Main Line or use alternative operators. The promise to passengers is a more comfortable, reliable and safer journey in the future. And in the meantime, by using one of the most well-known railway lines in the country, that disruption may be more bearable. Eunice Muller, BBC Northwest Tonight, Preston.
Right, let's get a roundup of some of the day's other news now. And a 23-year-old man who was fatally stabbed at a property in Bury on New Year's Eve has been named as Joe Burton. A 25-year-old man, Anthony Jr. Murray, appeared in court earlier today charged with murder. He'll appear at Manchester Crown Court on Monday. A woman who was also arrested has been released on bail pending further inquiries. Figures out today show the number of beds occupied by patients with flu is falling throughout the region. The only exception is at the Lancashire Hospitals NHS Trust, which runs the Royal Preston and the Chorley and South Ribble hospitals, where the number of flu patients has slightly increased. A mum on the Isle of Man says she is very proud as a new law comes in today, meaning that everyone on the island becomes an organ donor unless they opt out. It's something Diane Taylor has been campaigning for over a decade after her 15-year-old son died in a car crash in 2007. Daniel's organs went on to save the lives of 4 people.
It's a very proud day, and there's been so many people involved to get here. Daniel would be so chuffed that, you know, this was being brought in.
Well, someone who knows the value of human transplant and donation is Liverpool teenager Lyra Castle. She was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of blood cancer, but thanks to pioneering blood transplant treatment at Manchester Hospital, Lyra survived and she is now on the cusp of fulfilling her career in the NHS. Stuart Pollitt reports.
This story starts in Barcelona in 2010 with a donation of cord blood from a newborn baby. More than a decade later, in Liverpool, 16-year-old Lyra makes a worrying discovery.
I felt a lump in my neck here and I was like, oh, that's strange. They said, you've got leukemia. And I remember the first thing I said was, am I going to lose my hair? And he said, yeah. And I just went into meltdown then.
First, Lyra underwent chemotherapy at Alder Hey Hospital. Once her cancer levels fell, she was transferred to Royal Manchester Children's Hospital for a cord blood transplant.
Lyra had acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is a rare cancer, but it's common in children. Some children, like Lyra, who respond less well to chemotherapy, will need a transplant. We use a donor. And the donor makes a new immune system in the patient, and the new immune system kills the cancer. Her blood is actually that Spanish baby's blood.
We got told at the start of the process, obviously there's a high chance of death, I was in this bed for 4 weeks, unable to eat. I was on all sorts of drugs because I was in that much pain. We needed this heavy hitter transplant to completely destroy it.
Donations of blood cord can only be taken from mothers straight after birth at specific hospitals, including this one here in Manchester. But the use of that blood cord to treat other diseases could potentially expand in the coming years.
What we've pioneered and promoted in Manchester is the use of cord blood in difficult to cure leukemia. So the two questions, first of all, can we make it even better in leukemia? And secondly, can we use that technology and the science that we've learned to try and cure solid tumours, including those in adults?
3 years on, Lyra is thriving and is about to be reunited with Rob.
Hi, Lyra. Great to see you. You look amazing. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, to you.
And how's South Liverpool?
Oh, it's good.
Lyra's recovery prompted her new career in occupational therapy for the NHS.
It was going through cancer that made me want to go into healthcare. So yeah, I've just had a placement at Liverpool Heart and Chest Hospital. Got one more placement to go and then I'll be qualified.
She will make a very good NHS occupational therapist because of the very special people skills that she has.
Sometimes I think, well, I said no to death, and so I need to make the most of this now. But if it wasn't for cancer, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Stuart Pollitt, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
Oh, and good luck with that career, Lyra. Now, buildings across the region will be lit up green tomorrow to mark a year since the death of drag artist James Lee Williams, better known, of course, as the Vivian. James passed away at his home in Cheshire from a cardiac arrest brought on by ketamine use. He was just 32. Well, I'm joined now by a friend of his, John Hylands. He's also an LGBTQ campaigner. And you, John, are behind this green campaign, but why green?
Well, James was synonymous with green for his amazing role as the Wicked Witch in Andrew Lloyd Webber's West End and UK tour of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like a reimagining, revisualisation, because she looked fabulous. And since James's passing, his family, led by his sister Chanel, have set up a charity, the House of the Vivian, so also green. So it's a bit of a combination of a celebration as well as an awareness piece. So people will see the green, go, oh, isn't that nice? But what else does it mean? And hopefully then they go find the House of the Vivian and understand a bit more.
And what is the charity? This House of Vivian was set up, wasn't it? About a year ago, is that right?
Yeah, in the aftermath.
And
yes.
what's it aiming to achieve?
So it's a combination of things. So initially it's to support those who are going through a similar thing that James went through, but also campaigning. So they've been to Parliament a few times this year and they are going again in a couple of weeks, couple of months' time to look at reclassifying ketamine as a Class A drug, because so many people don't understand the actual consequences that it does, and there's such a pandemic right now, particularly younger people.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It does seem to be the drug of choice. But with James, you all knew that there was a problem there?
He said it on the show himself. There was those in his friendship circles who were aware that this was his party drug, so shall we say. But it was one of them. It kind of went through phases. When he went Gran Canaria, met his ex-husband David, it changed his life. But as I think it was Trinity that took, another drag queen, said once an addict, always an addict, as much as you can get it under control. So it's about peer support. It's making sure you've got that security around you, that safe space. So important. And you lost him a year ago. I know you're a real personal friend. What effect, though, has his death had on the whole sort of LGBTQ community? I think it's been incredibly impactful. For one, people don't realise it's been 12 months. No. It seems such a quick thing that's happened. But I think they were bringing drag back into modern media when they were on Dancing on Ice. It was during a time when drag was being attacked by right-wing activists and stuff. But they were very authentic. Always about living, they lived themselves, their heart was on their sleeve, they supported other artists, and they made sure that whilst they were on this trajectory, they brought people with them. And just very briefly, what's driving you on to do this campaigning? James is one of my best friends. I said he was my muse, Vivian. We did loads of content together, and as soon as it happened, I was like, your legacy's going nowhere, and his close friends know if anyone's going to make sure it happens, it's John. I'm called a busybody. I'll just ask the question. I won't take no for an answer. We all need people like that, and let's hope lots of places do light up green tomorrow in memory of James. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Now, we often do stories like this
around Christmas, but cat rescue centres across the northwest say they are at breaking point with no space to take on the hundreds of cats on waiting lists. Bleak Holt Animal Sanctuary in Bury rehomed more than 500 cats last year. Their pens are full and they have more than 300 cats on a waiting list. Staff say a lack of neutering, increase in vets' bills and a disposable attitude towards pets are all fuelling the problem. Zoe Toast has more.
We're full at the moment, so we'll have to add you to our waiting list. Is that okay?
At Bleak Holt Cat Sanctuary in Bury, the phones never stop ringing and every pen is full. The team is working flat out to cope with the record demand of cats needing help.
It's a cat crisis in the northwest. The number of cats needing our help far outweighs the space we've got available. All rescues in the local area are just flat out, full capacity. The number each day of calls we get, we just don't have the space to accommodate all those cats, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse this year. We really are in a crisis. At the moment,
the rescue is experiencing its highest level of need in its 68-year history. Over 500 cats were rehomed here last year, and there's currently more than 300 cats on a waiting list to be rescued. Many of these are stray or abandoned pets.
Cost of living's gone up drastically, vet fees have increased, but we're also seeing quite a throwaway culture where people are getting animals and don't want any more, so they just kick them out or move away and leave the cats behind. Cats coming into us in awful conditions and all preventable things as well.
Another concern is a lack of neutering. In 2025, Bleak Holt took in 76 litters of unwanted kittens.
Olive came into us with a ruptured eye, so she was in absolute agony. We had to rush her to the emergency vets and she had to have the eye removed. She made a brilliant recovery, but again, that would have been cat flu that would have caused that. Again, something that's preventable.
For the staff, it's having an emotional impact.
It's disheartening, it really is, because you want to help them all. You really want to help them all. Everybody that gets in touch wants to rehome a cat. There's a reason for it, and you just want to help, and we've got no choice but other than put them on a waiting list. It's just, I've never seen it like this. It's really bad at the moment.
This one here is Winter.
In Bolton, the situation isn't any better. Jenny says she's seeing more cases of abuse and neglect than ever before.
We're 24/7. If I get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, then I need to deal with that call. That's how it works. It upsets me that as a country we've got to this breaking point. If there was more help out there to help with the cost of the pets so they can stay in their own homes, that would be an absolute blessing.
The RSPCA have called it an epidemic of animal abandonment and neglect. They say reports of pets being given up have reached their highest level in at least 6 years. As we enter the new year, Bleak Holt are working on Project Perfect, fundraising to build new catteries that will house an additional 100 cats. Zoe Toes, BBC Northwest Tonight.
Oh, God, it breaks your heart, doesn't it? Right, we're going to move on to sport now. And Ian, you're here. And because you're here, we're going to be talking about Luke Littler again. But actually, for a good reason, because he's on his way to his third PDC World Darts Championship final. Have I got that right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I hope so. He is. It won't be a surprise if he did so to many people, but it won't be an all-Northwest final this year, though, unfortunately. After crew-based world number 2 Luke Humphries lost his quarter-final to the rising Dutch star Jan van Veen last night. But defending champion Littler, who was booed by some of the crowd during his previous match, beat Poland's Krzysztof Ratajski 5-0. He'll now play England's Ryan Searle for a place in that final.
A few boos here and there, but as soon as I got on stage, the crowd, absolutely unbelievable. Leading up to it, family and friends was just like, whatever happens, happens. And yeah, as soon as I got on stage, I clapped everyone, just so they know. I want them on my side again. But yeah, they're on my side tonight, and got the job done, so hopefully it's the same again tomorrow.
Can't be booing the nuke. The final at Alexandra Palace is tomorrow evening. Well, in the Premier League last night, it was a tale of 2 goalless draws. Liverpool also drew 0-0 at home to Leeds United. The Reds are currently 4th. The Premier League is back this weekend, as is the EFL, whose games are all being played on Sunday, unusually. Yesterday saw a full fixture list across the Championship, League One and League Two. Lots going on, and as you'll see in a moment, I was in South Yorkshire for one of the more forgettable matches. Preston North End start the year in the Championship playoff places, with Milutin Osmajic scoring on his return from a 9-game ban as his team beat bottom club Sheffield Wednesday 3-0.
I felt today at no point did we give them any hope or any opportunities to
to get that foothold in the game and become dangerous. So, yeah, I thought it was a really strong performance.
Blackburn Rovers are just 3 points above the relegation zone, though, after a 2-0 home defeat to Wrexham. In League One, 4th place Stockport County were held to a goalless draw by struggling Northampton. Elsewhere, Bolton Wanderers are here at Doncaster Rovers. I was going to come anyway as a fan, so I thought I'd combine it with a work trip. Wanderers' automatic promotion push had taken a knock with defeat to Mansfield days earlier.
Let's put Monday behind us, a bit of a blip. We start the new year off the way that we want to end the year. We are there or thereabouts, we're keeping in touch with everybody, and that's what we need to continue to do.
I think home form's been great, away form, not the greatest, I'll be honest.
And so it proved again as Bolton went behind to next to bottom Doncaster before a raft of substitutions led to a partial improvement.
And the shot comes in from Dempsey!
Not the prettiest game of football you'll ever see, not one that we'll remember forever. You know, for probably the first time in God knows how long, they've had more shots and more shots on target than us. We didn't have our best attack and play, but we haven't got beat, which is in the end a positive.
Right. Also in League One, mid-table Wigan drew at home to Barnsley, while Blackpool's recent resurgence faltered with a 5-1 thrashing at Port Vale.
5! It's extraordinary!
Salford City's League Two promotion push continued with a hard-fought 2-1 win at Barrow, while 2 goals from Josh March helped Crewe in 10th to a 4-1 win over Cheltenham. Elsewhere, Fleetwood Town lost at home to a late Grimsby Town goal, but Accrington Stanley's impressive season continued as they won 1-0 at Notts County to move to within 6 points of the playoff places.
Everyone looks at the old Accrington, we can beat little old Accrington, but we're a force to reckon. We know that ourselves, and we know if we get it right, and we get it right more often than not, that we can climb the table, and that's the challenge.
Joe Garner's stoppage time penalty miss meant Oldham Athletic had to settle for a 1-1 draw at home to Chesterfield, while 2 Cameron Norman goals gave Tranmere Rovers a 2-0 win at Harrogate. Lots of goals. And in Rugby Union, Sale Sharks are at Bristol tonight in the Prem. On Boxing Day, the Sharks, who've had a bit of a dodgy period, got their season back on track with a comprehensive 43 points to 17 win over Harlequins. More of the same tonight would do nicely, wouldn't it, Annabelle? That's
it
sport.
Would. Thank you very much, Ian. Good Christmas, good New Year.
Yeah, very much so.
Excellent, good. Nice to see you. Well, Christmas and the New Year can be, of course, a lovely family time for many of us, but it can also feel very lonely for some people. And a charity founded in Oldham called Chatty Cafe helps communities tackle isolation by providing a table in venues where people can come along and have a chat. It's already signed up nearly 100 locations in the northwest and has now announced plans for a major expansion. Andy Gill reports from one of the Chatty Cafes in Cheshire.
I do like party games where you have things stuck on your head. And
Anne Barlow chats to volunteers at the Chatty Cafe table in the Just Ice Cafe at Poynton in Cheshire. Anne lost her husband in 2023 and has been coming to the Friday sessions here for a couple of months. It's made a big difference in her life.
You just need other people. You just need much more social interaction, I feel, than you can possibly have on your own with your cat. They're not good chatters cats, no. And you go home feeling uplifted.
The Chatty Cafe idea was started by Alex Hoskin from Oldham, who felt isolated when she had her first child in 2016. She was in a cafe and realised people at different tables weren't talking to each other. Now there are Chatty Cafe tables at more than 700 venues across the UK.
I do want it to grow, I want it to keep going. It is an epidemic, it's, a national crisis, and the more we can give people the opportunities for face-to-face interaction, the better, really.
She was at the carol service.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Judy Harner is another regular at Just Ice in Poynton.
Well, it lifts you up if you're feeling a little bit low, a little bit depressed. I love to chat and talk to people, quite sociable, really. So I do love to come down here.
The Chatty Cafe tables aim to combat loneliness all year round, not just at Christmas. Volunteers like Margaret keep the conversation flowing if vulnerable or new people are not sure what to talk about.
I'm very bothered about older people and loneliness. And I'm there myself a bit as well. And I think I've always been a person that's been able to facilitate something, get it going with the help of others. Encouraging others
to take part and to bring out the best in other people.
The charity estimates it's helped 30,000 people since it started in 2017. Now it wants to raise money to have tables in 1,000 venues for its 10th anniversary next year.
I think for people to feel they can go out in the community and maybe people say hi to them, you know, and they start to get to know people they wouldn't have known before. So, yeah, it makes me cry every time I talk about it, honestly.
Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Poynton.
It's a lovely idea. Right, let's get a look at the weather now. Keely is here. And Keely, it's been a very cold start to 2026, hasn't it?
It absolutely has, Annabelle, and it's going to stay very, very cold as well. And we actually had some wintry showers today. They crept through the Cheshire Gap, so you can see a little bit of snow on the floor here. But for most of us, it has been a dry, fine day with plenty of winter sunshine. It's going to be the same tomorrow, which is actually good news if you're interested in seeing the supermoon, the first one of 2026, which will actually be at 3 minutes past 10 tomorrow morning. So tomorrow looks lovely, albeit cold and a very frosty start to the day. But we have got some sleet and snow showers in the forecast for Sunday. We actually have a warning at the moment for Greater Manchester and Cheshire as well for some accumulations of that snow. Why is it so cold? Well, we've got low pressure to the east, high pressure to the west. That means a northerly wind. That means air pouring down from the Arctic. But I think tomorrow it does look like it's going to be largely dry. Still the odd shower out there for the Isle of Man through the Cheshire Gap, but they will tend to... Oh, hang on a sec, hang on, bear with me. I'm going to need that, aren't I? Every weather presenter needs one of these. They will tend to die out, the showers, overnight, but we are looking at a widespread frost, particularly for inland spots where temperatures will drop quite a few degrees below freezing. So a cold and a frosty start to the day tomorrow, but it does look like it's going to be dry and fine with a good deal of sunshine. And the breeze coming a little bit more around from the north tomorrow, which means it will be a largely dry day, but feeling bitterly cold. We've got a really cold northerly wind, which will be brisk, I think, at times for the Isle of Man and along the coast. Temperatures only lifting to around 4 or 5 degrees, but feeling colder than that because of the breeze. Looking further ahead, a frosty start to Sunday. Fine for Sunday morning, but the risk of some sleet and snow showers developing, staying very cold, frosty. There could be some snow midweek. Annabelle.
Thanks, Keely. Very smooth move there. Well done.
Very smooth, yeah.
Excellent. That's it. I will be back with your update at 10:30. Bye-bye for now.